Ready? Welcome to the Drake and Christine Show. After dark.
That makes it sound like it's gonna be explicit.
Well, to be clear, it's after dark because it is at night when we can put the kids to bed and we have a little bit of time to chat. We have tried to do this a couple of times, but we had some technical difficulties. So, fingers crossed, this one actually gets posted.
Yep.
The last time it ended up being a very fun conversation between a husband and wife that never got recorded.
Yeah, the phone turned off, right?
Yeah.
It ran out of battery.
Yeah.
So anyways, Drake, when was the last time we even did a podcast?
Like before Nico was born, I think.
Probably even before Hazel was born?
Maybe, I don't know. I don't know, we'd have to check.
So it's been like 2 years. What's happened in 2 years?
We had a baby. We had 2 babies in 2 years.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't have any of the babies. She had both of them. Did amazing. Both of them home births.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah. The first one, amazing experience just for like, it was a new experience for both of us. But what I loved about it personally was the intimacy that we got to have, where it was just literally us two, the midwife, doula in our own home.
Mm-hmm.
No doctors and random nurses coming in and out, and disrupting everything. But it was really just like, let the moment build as it does, and afterwards Hazel was born
In the water.
in the
birth pool.
the birth pool, and we got to kind of just crawl into our bed and start being parents. That was really cool.
Yeah, that was. And then with Nico, we had him, or I had him, almost 10 months ago. He's about to be 10 months.
Mm-hmm.
And that was in our home now, because we also moved from Hazel's birth to when we had Nico. We moved into a house. And that was a really fun experience because Nico was born after my water broke. Nico was born within less than an hour. So I did not get the birth pool. I did not have the midwife here. She just missed it. So I had Nico in the bathtub with no water. It was just raw dogging it.
It was actually, that whole day was kind of funny because in the morning she was having contractions
very sporadically,
and I was like, what do you think? You think you're gonna have the baby today? And she was like, I don't know.
Yeah, I was 39 weeks also, so it's not like I was at my due date. Even though I didn't make it to my due date with Hazel either. Yeah, you're on the phone with your uncle and you're like, having contractions, or like, you're carrying on. So like, I was like, the baby's not coming anytime soon. Yeah. Jake was convinced it was gonna be at like nighttime. He was like, I'm gonna go work.
Yeah, I gotta go work, and I'll see you later. Yeah. So I was already on the road, and literally I just left.
Like 30 minutes.
30 minutes later, you called me, and you're like,
turn around.
My water just broke. I was like, all right.
Yeah, that was pretty fun. But no, and I free birth basically, and
yeah, because Nico came within an hour of you giving me that call. Maybe even less. Yeah.
Yeah, you got home and he was born like 25 minutes later.
Yeah.
So the midwife was on the way, so we were on FaceTime.
She got in like 10 minutes after
with the midwife.
Born, yeah.
Yeah, and then she had an assistant, and she also was nearby. But that was fun. That was a totally different experience, but it honestly was actually, like, from one perspective, easier than with Hazel, because Hazel was a gradual build-up. very intense, very like hard on my body. With Nico, it didn't feel so challenging. So yeah, that was fun. And then
Well, I was just gonna say it's also really cool because in that time frame we've had two children. A lot of our friends have one or two children now. A lot of our friends within this community, I should say, um, within the community that we're building of making super intelligent children who actually care about the world and other people around them. And we just recently last month came back from our event, our annual event, where we have a reunion for all the people who are doing the same things we're doing, being very intentional about how we're raising our children and building communities for other people that want to do that, right?
Mhm.
And it's just really cool because there was just so many kids this time
yeah,
that it was just like, wow, this is cool. Like we're actually seeing the manifestation, the fruition of everything that we are putting our efforts towards, and seeing like this is what these kids look like as they're growing up, as they're interacting with each other. And I gotta say, it was really fun just seeing them all um, play together, like with Hazel when she was on that ATV,
yeah.
and all those boys were surrounding her, like helping her, like push the ATV up. She's riding the ATV, and they're pushing her up a mound of like mulch and stuff, and everybody's getting along. Everybody's having fun. The parents are able to communicate really clearly. I kept hearing moms say it is such an awesome experience to get to let my kids run around and not have to worry about undoing something that some mom says, and then I've got to explain to my kid for the next 3 days why that person said that stupid thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, there's like real trust being built in the community because everyone has the same starting point, or at
yeah,
least willing to challenge, their ideas about parenting, and really just having the starting point of doing what's best for the children, doing what's best for yourself, doing what's best for the world.
yeah,
And that makes a huge difference, honestly. Like, it seriously is a new paradigm shift of parenting that we're creating
yeah,
within this community with techno-tutor, self-perfected, all that kind of stuff. So
yeah,
it's really exciting because it's now, I mean, I've been a part of this community for now 5 years.
Mhm.
You've been a little bit longer,
A little
but
bit
I'm
longer.
sure, but like you were also in the kind of like the very beginning stages. So you've seen it like kind of like exponentially grow, I would say.
Definitely.
I've also seen it, but I was also kind of like right at like the tipping point where it like kind of took off,
Yeah, yeah,
So I also saw it, have seen it really grow, especially with the kids. Like a lot of us that started when I started didn't have any kids, and some of us weren't even in relationships, like including myself. And we got together, then a bunch of other couples got together, and now like you said, most of them have either one or two kids,
Right.
which is really cool.
Right.
And we all get to raise our kids together, and like obviously we're not all necessarily local, but we are looking to expand all of our local communities as well, because
Yes.
yeah, just like it's just so obvious, like every kid deserves to have this experience.
Well, I mean, let's talk about like some of the stuff that's like happening in the world, because I think that's something that we can do. I mean, whenever we can find the time to like actually make these. We're in our pajamas right now
Yeah, seriously.
because you never know when one of these kids are gonna wake up and like that's it, show's over. But I think what we're doing, well, obviously what we're doing is so important because right now I don't know if the cat can be heard right now. We got a cat that's like
Meowing her head off.
she needs attention. um, but no, I was just talking with somebody yesterday about how like it is very clear with the direction that technology is going and how intense it is getting in the online space with you name it, social media, AI, all of that, how easy it is for a child to get sucked into just being on a screen all day.
Totally.
And like what I see really clearly is, there's going to be like what I'm calling it the dopamine prison class. There's going to be a separation of classes. It used to be like, oh, there's consumers and then there's, I don't know, producers or the elite or whatever. It's going to be completely different.
Yeah, totally.
In a very short time, where there's going to be this dopamine prisoner class, which is just basically people.
It's the consumer class, but like
on steroids. Yeah, definitely. like, and here's why I think it's different than the consumer class is because if you're seeing what I'm calling like the boots on the ground in the field, it's very obvious that the kids today are not getting smarter. They're not as intelligent as and it's not the kids' fault. It's just that they don't have the access to the education or the discipline or any of that they really need, especially combating all the technologies that are like shoved in their faces, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So you have all these iPad kids and everything, and it's really showing, especially in the schools, but it's just showing in general, where kids their brains are, they call it brain rot, right? With
like the kids know it.
The kids know it.
Like they're saying these phrases.
They don't know.
Yeah.
So that they're just repeating the phrases and like 6, 7 and whatever else they're saying, right? And it's like they're like that's just spreading. That stuff continues to spread very easily from child to child.
Yeah.
Regardless of what the parents want for them, regardless of whether they put them in a private school or a public school or even homeschooling, that virus still is spreading through the kids.
Yeah.
And so if you imagine those kids becoming adults, it's like, dude, that kid cannot regulate themselves. They're not disciplined in themselves. They have no education. They don't learn anything.
Yeah.
They're not able to sit and direct themselves. They just want the dopamine hit because that's what their life experience has been. And they're going to be controlled by that. So whether it's through a screen or like through an implant from like, Neuralink or whatever, they're going to get that hit. And the people who are in control of those technologies are going to be like basically their prison wardens, they're tech wardens,
Yeah.
And they're going to want to continue to control that because that's where they're going to get their money from, basically, is the control,
Exactly. Yeah, it's just really interesting now because obviously a lot of the things that we're seeing within especially like kids and the development of children into adults, it's like it always was kind of there underlying under the surface, like even when we were in school, but it's like now it's just completely exacerbated because of technology. Definitely. And all the advancements in technology, but then also the kind of like insidiousness that's happening with technology because it's created now just for more consumption and more for you to use the product. So it's very much playing on your emotions and feelings and trying to make you feel good and all this kind of stuff, right? So it's like it's just like because I'm like, okay, when I was in high school, I was addicted to the computer at one point. Like I remember going home and being so excited to go on. For us, it was called MSN Messenger.
Yeah.
It wasn't AOL. Or well, I know you guys would.
Well, we had both.
Oh, okay. So, anyways, for me, it was like just MSN Messenger, and I remember like
because you didn't have America Online because you're a Canadian.
But anyways, I would literally be on the computer like from the moment I got home, and till I went to bed, basically, and literally every day to the point that like my parents didn't know like how to support at that point. So then it's like my dad would be like unplugging the internet and like doing all kinds of weird stuff to like stop me from trying to get on the internet.
That's so interesting to me because I feel like I just was not cool enough to be on MSN.
Hilarious. Well, I think I was just more talking to like my boyfriend and at the time.
See, I was not cool enough. I didn't have a boyfriend.
A boyfriend.
Or girlfriend.
Anyway, but what I was gonna what I wanted to say earlier too was, it's really interesting all this technology advancing so quickly because it's like there's so much time and money and effort being put into like the development of like computers and then these smartphones, and then now it's turning into like AI and robotics and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, okay, that's great and all, but we're not advancing and developing the
society,
human,
yeah.
like but the individual human, and then as a society.
But as a society, we're not doing that, because we personally are doing
well
that with our
yes
Yeah.
yes, but I'm saying like on like a societal scale,
Right,
yes, we're
yeah.
not actually developing to become just as intelligent, if not more, even though we have actually the potential to be just as intelligent, if not
Definitely.
more, considering like the capability and the capacity of like the human brain and the mind, like, you know.
I don't think people understand, or maybe they unconsciously like feel it, but they don't know what to do about it. Like the scale of literal
I'm just
warfare.
saying, like, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, we literally have a supercomputer
Yes.
in our physical body.
Yeah.
And we haven't even scratched the surface
Yeah.
on like what we're actually capable of.
Definitely.
And then we're seeing this like very quote unquote intelligence, you know, these AIs,
Yeah.
these models being built, which is like literally just the accumulation of what humans have done.
Yeah.
And then you're having to like create these like ginormous data centers that are just accumulating or using up even more resources.
Yeah.
So then you're like, is that thing actually intelligent? Because look at the size of that, and then look at the size of like the human. It
Right.
just like doesn't even, the scale just doesn't even add up.
It's a good argument.
You know,
it's
like,
cool. Yeah.
So anyways, the point being is that we're not, like, as a society with the education system, we're not actually supporting the individual, and then also supporting the, you know, the greater society or whatever.
Right.
So we're gonna run into like very, very serious consequences very quickly now, because we're at a point where it's like technology is advancing so quickly that the jobs that were once available for people to make money are not going to be there, because we're not developing even the, like, we're not even aware of what's going to be out there in the next like less than 10 years, in the next 5 years. So it's going to be a very interesting and kind of a scary world to be in, because it's like, where are people going to make money?
Well,
you know,
what I'm saying is I agree with that. I'm just also adding in that people don't realize, okay, the kids of today who literally cannot do a simple math equation, cannot read anything more complex than their own name, you know, like literally, they're going to become adults. What are they going to do? Right? And then they don't have the discipline to do, you know, anything outside of just watch a YouTube video with their favorite influencer or whatever. And then how is that person supposed to build? How is a society built on, you know, people like that? How is that supposed to build anything or create anything? Or are we all just going to rely on a technology that is, you know, artificial intelligence or whatever, and expect that to give us the answers? That's very stupid as a society, you know?
Yeah. And it's not to say that like all this technology is inherently bad. It's really not, actually, but it's like where the starting point of everything comes again back down to the point of, it's just for money. Like, it's just being created for more wealth accumulation for the very elite people at the top, which is now these like tech billionaires playing out sci-fi fantasies.
So you know what's been really cool is, you know, we've been reading a lot of sci-fi books, and just the way that the ideas are expressed. It's like, okay, all this stuff has already been talked about,
right?
And we've seen, this is the obvious consequence of if we continue down this path. But how many people have read these books? You know. Other
Not
than
many.
You know, outside of our group.
Well, no, but people have read these books, like, because there's obviously people that are into that genre. But it's like we're missing the point. It's like,
how many people actually understood it?
They understood it, and then also like actually learned from it. You know, because obviously these tech billionaires are like, it's almost like they're being like, oh yeah, this book said like what not to do. Let's do it.
Let's do that.
It's like.
let's name
you know?
the thing after that
Right.
terrible thing that happened.
So it's like, okay, obviously we're missing, there's something missing there, but also it's like people, like, if you notice, because it's a form of entertainment also, though, it's like, because even when you watch a movie or something, it's like people always side with like the people that are on the side of like the revolution, or the side of the people that are trying to fight against like the evil or the system or whatever the thing is. But it's like it never extrapolates to like real life, and then everyone's just like so focused on their own survival and like their own little life, that they're like no one's willing to actually be that group of people that was gonna challenge the system. You know what I'm saying? Which is really sad, because it's like it's like it's almost like, what's the point of all these movies? But it's also, I don't know, you can get into like predictive programming, where it's like you kind of just accept what's being done.
Well, what I was gonna say is, it's really cool from the perspective of the conversations that we've been having with some of the people that we are working very closely with to build these communities, and then hold this stronger vision for what it is that we are creating globally, of creating a world where our kids eventually, like, how amazing would it be if our kids eventually wouldn't have to worry about poverty? They didn't have that anxiety. They didn't have to worry about children being, going without food, or being abused, or any of those things, right? How amazing would it be if one day we could see on the headlines, or our kids, maybe not in our lifetime, but our kids in their lifetime, when they're, grandparents, they could see on the headlines, like, the last person who was, missing out on food or whatever is being fed, and they're going to be guaranteed food, and everybody for forever more, as far as we can see, will have, all their needs met, because we've solved that problem. Like, how amazing would that be? And then for them to be able to go, wow, my parents were a part of setting this in motion, and they prepared me to be a part of actually implementing this. And I was just, what you said, and also something that Katie's been saying, is this point of like, okay, we can all sort of see what's happening in the world, but if the vast majority of people are just strictly focused on their own survival, the problem's never going to get solved.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And so it's like, well, okay, we can all see this happening. Let's all come together and solve it. And we have, like, there's a really clear, obvious solution. It may not be obvious to everyone, right? But when you are increasing your own intelligence, your own education, and supporting others, it's like, oh, this actually works.
Yeah.
It becomes clear, like, oh, I can see how this could come together so that we can all be fed, we can all actually live a good life together.
Yeah, it's also just this point of like having a greater purpose, versus just trying to survive until you die.
Right.
Basically.
Right.
And we're gonna have to
pause the video.
All right.
Well, I guess that's a wrap, because that's how this show goes. Welcome to Drake and Christine After Dark, and goodbye from Drake and Christine After Dark.
Yeah. I guess we'll just do these videos kind of like off the cuff, but also they might just abruptly end, and then that'll keep you on your toes for the next one.
That's right. That's right. I guess to wrap up this one, it's just simply, we are preparing our children very seriously for what's coming with technology, economy, AI, all of it, so that they can actually live in a world where they don't have the same anxieties that people have today, and that they can actually enjoy their lives and we can all live in harmony. How amazing would that be?
Yep.
And, you know, as a final point, if you're not working towards that, what are you doing? Just surviving another day to what? Then dump your kids into that anxiety? Like, let's do something greater together.
Yeah. Cool.
Cool.
Catch
See
you
ya.
in the next one.
Bye.